Gracias, Andy. Igualmente, hoy le vamos a presentar ya la conclusión de esta historia especial, la historia de Hussam Halawi, luego de hablar de su vida actual en la ciudad de Monterrey, de su pasado en Alepo, en Siria. Bueno, en esta última parte habla de los detonantes de sus experiencias, el régimen de Bashar al-Assad, el extremismo y el complejo conflicto sirio. Veamos.
How would you characterize, in a few words, Bashar al-Assad? What would you say about him?
Brutal, savage. The only probably word I would agree with Donald Trump that he says recently is that he's an animal, Bashar al-Assad. Syria has been living in a lie since the al-Ba'ath party came to power. They say, oh, we are the resistance, we are, against Israel, we are whatever. They have killed more Syrians than they ever killed an Israeli. They have been lying to people, they're oppressing them, that we are the only castle, that's what they call it, the only castle in the Middle East that's standing against the Israelis, etc. And all the tanks and all the guns and all of the shellings and bombings and Air Force is going on the people for the past 6 years. It's the biggest lie, this regime. You have people in the army. The army is a joke. It's compulsory. Say, oh, you have to. It's mandatory to go to this because you're going to prepare you in case war happened against Israel or whatever. It's all why they're preparing you to kill your own people, to kill your brother, to kill your mother, to kill your father. Let's say you're a guy, or a girl, or whoever. You're serving in the military. You're killing, knowing that you're killing. You're throwing that barrel bomb full of nails and sharp nails, knowing that you're going to have 7 stories building down on its people. How can you not think that this is not right? Yeah, make no mistake, ISIS is not. I don't like to call it ISIS even. I call it Daesh. That's what we call it in the Middle East. Because when you say an Islamic State, they are not Muslims. And I don't recognize them as Muslims. I do not accept them as Muslims. I mean, they are as Muslims as the KKK is Christian.
دولة الإسلام العراق والشام دولة الإسلام تكبير الله أكبر تكبير الله أكبر.
And I would say the majority of the blame on this is not the Quran, is not the Muslims. It's actually the Muslim leaders. They have not done enough, and it will not end with the Muslim leaders. I mean, the Muslims will not be able to end this. If you look at the world and you have a religious leader like the Pope, or the Dalai Lama, people follow, talk, who listen to, that you at least have guidance. In the Muslim world, because the majority of these countries and the majority of the Muslim world is ruled by dictators, those leaders cannot talk their mind, or else they'll be thrown out of jail. Make no mistake, Assad and his sponsors like Iran or Russia, his supporters, his militias like the Iran National Guard and Hezbollah in Lebanon. Make no mistake, they have released a lot of these extremists. I mean, the thing is, when we talk about ISIS, is that how did ISIS came? How did it come to such strength? And it's just what, 20 to 50,000 people? You're talking about NATO countries here. You're talking about superpowers that have military bases next door. How come such 40, 50,000 fanatics who blow up things in no name of religion still exist at this day and age? Or let a person like a savage animal like Bashar al-Assad in power. And they say, oh, we cannot go to war with Russia. Well, hello. And then all these people who talk about Assad regime and Russian support, where is the S-400 defense system when the Americans hit the Syrian military base? Why? It didn't happen. So it's the world is hypocrite right now. And no oil in Syria, of course, there's no interest. What are they going to get? Yeah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين.
What I think with the current situation, Syrians have to get together. The way the Syrian people are, they're not that fundamentalist. So I'm not afraid of that. But what I think there is no way for reconciliation anymore. The Kurds will have their own territory. The Aleppians, like me, would have their own. I think Syria will be divided, and if it will take for the bloodshed to stop, to have a state of Aleppo, let's have a state of Aleppo. I support something like that actually. Federalism, as we say. Why not? It's working in Canada. It's working in the United States. It works in Mexico. I mean, the thing is, the Syrian problem is not a Syrian problem. It's a world problem. It's East versus West. The world has to support the people of Syria.
El mundo tiene que apoyar a la gente de Siria, es lo que dice finalmente Hussam Halawi, este sirio que vive en Monterrey, Nuevo León, que tuvo que salir de su país a buscar trabajo fuera de esa zona de terrible conflicto y que ahora trata de poner en la mesa pues, las necesidades que tienen muchos millones de personas, tanto en Siria como fuera de ese país. Vamos a una pausa, regresamos con más en Milenio, no se vayan.